All right, all right, all right, all right. With the mugshot t-shirt. Come on. The mugshot t-shirt, right? If this triggered you already, you can click away. It's all good. This is for my people. You know who you are. I am a dating, relationship, love life coach and a proud patriot. And today I am getting into a message for people who take things too quickly in relationships. They fall too fast, too soon, too much, too soon. Now, let me first begin by saying that I met my husband and was engaged within 4 months. But because I know what the hell I'm doing and I teach this stuff, I teach people how to date with confidence and purpose. You can check out my website at LoveQuestCoaching.com, get the free Love Life assessment. But because I knew what I was doing, I knew how to approach dating. I knew what I was doing. I was dating for a very clear purpose. And I'm going to get into all these do's and don'ts for that initial beginning 90-day period of like evaluation period when you're dating, right? You meet somebody new and you're like, all right, let's see where this goes. Allow 90 days. That's the first do. Don't go full on, full throttle, 90 days. And in that 90 days, you are assessing. So let's get into this little list of stuff. There are plenty more do's and don'ts. I'm actually going to be preparing a blog article over at LoveQuestCoaching.com, my website. And in it, we'll have a long list of do's and don'ts in that early stage of a relationship. Okay? So you can check that out and you can head on over to LoveQuestCoaching.com. But let's get into the list. Here's the list. This is optimal information for anybody out there who's like, oh my God, I meet somebody and I jump in too soon. I get all wrapped up in them. I start acting like a wife and I'm not even a girlfriend. Okay. So and I start acting like a husband and I'm not even a boyfriend. Like it goes both ways. There are a lot of men out there who jump in too quickly. They start moving women in with them. What is this? Stop this madness. I will share a bunch of my own personal story, right? Because like I said, husband and I, we met and got engaged within 4 months. However, we're not crazy people. I didn't move in until later. Like we got engaged, right? Then I moved in. I was like, I don't shack up. So this is the first thing. Let's just back it up, get clear on a bunch of things. Number one, I'm 52 years old. I met my husband when I was 50. 50. Do you think I have time to be dicking around in a relationship for 4 years to decide then, maybe we're better off as friends? Are you kidding me? No. After getting clear on what my deal breakers were, what my purpose was for dating, all of it, I sat down and got clear about what I wanted. Then I kind of was like, all right, let's do it. Let's bring it on. Let's do it. Let's have a great time this summer. Let's be open to meeting an amazing guy, my husband. I'm not interested in meeting a bachelor or a boyfriend because women put men in categories just the same as men do with women. We do the same. Oh, that's a fuck buddy guy. That's a boy toy kind of guy. Oh, this is a guy that is just friend zone guy. Oh, this is a dude that like I could date off and on guy. Like, we do the same thing. And I wasn't into any of that. I was like, no, I am either on my own, alone, or husband, my husband. That's it. So anyhow, let's get into this list. Do get clear on your deal breakers. This is super important. A lot of people forget their deal breakers because they get so caught up in the excitement of this new person and the attention and the whirlwind of it all that they forget what they actually wanted and they forget about the things that matter to them. And then that leads to number 2, settling, right? Don't settle. Just because you haven't gotten laid in ages and, you're down below is like, bats and cobwebs. And it's like, you take down your pants or you take off your skirt and it's like, or like you need WD-40. Just because you're rolling that way, right? Don't let that get you cloudy, right? A lot of times, especially for women, I've seen this with men too, but it's more prevalent with women, I think, you get a little like sex haze. Like you start having sex again after not having sex in a while and you get a little hazy. You get a little hazy. You're like letting things slide that wouldn't normally slide. You're like making excuses, which I get to in this list as well. Don't make excuses. Number 3, do not make excuses for the deal breakers. If you see the deal breaker and just because you're getting it on the regular, don't start making excuses. Okay. So like if let's say you value cleanliness, you value somebody who's very orderly in their home and they keep things neat. And you're like, listen, I'm not here to be anybody's mother, right? I'm not here to be anybody's father or maid. And like you roll up on this person and you see that their house is a complete disaster. That's going to tell you something, right? So are you up for that? And a lot of people will make excuses. Oh, it's not that bad. We can hire somebody, or I can do it, or whatever. Together we'll, no, stick to what, like I could see if it's a thing where you're just like, I'm not going to be that picky about that. That's just not a big deal. Like, you know, for yourself in your heart, like, what are the things that are like, hell no. And what are the things that are like, I can deal with it. There's a workaround for that. So get clear on what that is for you, because, you know, everybody has different, but you can't ignore that, right? And a lot of people end up settling for a person that you're like, dude, what are you doing? Right? You start to see it and you're like, what are you doing? Like, this is not what you said that you wanted, and this is what you're doing, and why is this? So have that conversation with yourself. Get very clear about what you want. Be very clear up front. That's another do. Be very clear up front. If you are dating like me, I was dating to attract my husband. And I was 100% clear right from the jump. Like, super nice to meet you. I'm so glad that we want to go out. Nice. I want to get to know you better too, but I must be upfront. The intention that I have for dating is to get married. And if that's not your jam, totally understand, all good. Maybe they were just recently divorced. Maybe they were married 27 times before and they're like, hell no, I'm not getting married. Maybe they just have like a bunch of money and they don't want to marry and they don't want to get all legal with it. They want to do like a common law marriage, and they, you know, you can engage in a conversation about that. Whatever their deal is, maybe they're not into it. Maybe they're not into like merging lives, having somebody live in their space. There are a lot of people, right? Over a certain age, you start getting really set in your ways and you're like, dude, I have a nice, happy little peaceful life in my peaceful home. And I don't want somebody to come in here, put all their stuff in my house. Like, I'm not about that life. And that's normal and fine. Just be upfront. If you are, like I said, I was dating my husband, and right from the start, I said, awesome, happy that we met. I just have to be upfront and clear because I'm a woman of integrity. I don't want to waste anybody's time, mainly my own. And I am dating for this purpose. And he was like, okay, fine. Like, nothing, no big deal, nothing. So then the next one is, finally, be prepared to walk away if they aren't it. If they're not it. If you've realized in that 90-day first, 90 days, you've seen enough to know that you don't want to know anymore, walk away with grace. Do not try to make this person a mound of clay that you're then going to try to create this perfect person. Maybe I could teach him this. I could teach her that. I can help her this. Stop it. You want a partner, not a project. Okay. So, if a man is a grown ass man and he's 40 something years old, 50 something years old, 60 something years old, and he lives like a pigsty, and that's not your jam, and you're like, oh my God, I cannot envision a life living like this. And I think I'm going to try to teach someone to be clean and neat and put everything in its place. It's never going to happen. You're going to be at odds constantly. It's going to be a disaster. So just be like, listen, you know what? Cool guy to date. Keep him on the roster. And then just be like, you know what? I think it's just better if we see other people, because I've seen enough to know that I don't want to see anymore. And I mean, that's just me being snarky and sarcastic, but there is a way to like give that news in a way that is, honest and very classy and polite. And, it's like, hey, if it's not a fit, it's not a fit. So let's get clear on these specific things for each. Do get clear on your deal breakers. Refresh your memory. So a lot of people run their mouth off about, oh, this is a deal breaker. There's no way I'm going to date somebody that does this, whatever. So I was coaching a woman, and she's dating. She's 47 years old, beautiful woman. And she's hardcore. Like, I don't date dudes who do like weed, like smoking it, anything with weed at all. I don't care if it's medicinal. I don't give a shit. I don't want that smell of that shit around me. I'm like, all right, cool. Got it. No weed. So I'm like, what about like gummies? And are you just like anti-smoke weed, or are you just like anti any kind of drugs whatsoever? She's like, oh, no. If they're doing like gummies for back pain or like anxiety and it's like a natural, that's cool. She's all about the no smell of weed. I'm like, okay, got it. So she was like, I date very clear on what my deal breakers are. The other deal breaker she had was, because she's 47 years old and she has, how old is her daughter? I think she's 14, something like that. She's like, she's like no guys with little kids. She already has teenage daughter, 4 years more. Daughter goes to college or wherever, lives with friends, out the house, toodaloo. And the mom is like, I'm not starting that over, right? I'm not dealing with psycho ex-wives, being in our business, having to arrange my schedule to accommodate psycho ex-wife, because who wants to have the kids? She's like, I don't want any of that in my life. I'm like, okay, that's a good deal breaker. Wonderful. So I wrote this article also on LoveQuestCoaching.com. And it's 20 great questions to ask on a date. And they're framed in such a way that they're open-ended and they get people talking. They get people revealing themselves to you, and not in like an interview kind of way, like very conversational, like people grow to have rapport and trust. And so they start revealing things to you. And so one of the ways I said for her to consider determining if he has young children is you say, so tell me about yourself. Tell me about your family. Do you get to see them often? You have children? What's up with your family? And that will open the space for him to say, oh yeah, who doesn't love talking about their kids when they have kids, right? It's the first thing they talk about. So when you give them that safe, allegedly safe, but you don't know, they don't know what you're thinking. They don't know that that's like the buzzer, like, they don't know. You're just being pleasant. You're just like, so tell me about your family. Do you get to see them often? And they're like, oh yeah. So I have 2 kids. One is 9, one is 7. And there you go. And you listen to them and they talk and blah, blah, blah. And at that point you kind of tune out, because if they're not for you, who else believes this, right? You're on a date, the second they're not for you, you kind of hear them in like the Peanuts language, like you're not even hearing what they're saying anymore. You're like, okay, tuned out, la, la, la. So you hear what they have to say, and then you tell them, so wonderful that you're an involved, awesome dad, parent, mom, whatever. Thank you for sharing all that with me. I think we're in different places in life. So I don't think this is a fit for me, but I wish you love, light, and luck, and your person's out there. So good luck finding them. And that's it. Now, I recommend doing all this, handling all this on a preliminary phone video screening call for many reasons. I have a whole other video about the phone screener. It is a very important tactic, strategy, whatever, when dating, so that you can get these top line deal breakers handled, right? And a lot of people, because they are dating from a place of loneliness, boredom, catastrophizing that they're going to be alone for the rest of their lives, so they settle, right? This guy is serving up, or this woman is serving up their hot mess situation, circumstance, and they excuse it. They're like, everything they said about their deal breakers are like out the window, because they would rather be alone. They would rather be with someone who isn't truly a fit for them and eat shit, basically, and acquiesce to whatever, circumstances these people are living in, than to be alone, right? And they think, they start to make excuses. They start to say things like, well, I can't be so picky. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. The problem is you lack faith. That's the bottom line problem. People start settling and making excuses for the choices they make in the people that they end up with. It's because they lack faith. If you lack faith, then you don't have a knowingness that your person exists exactly how you want them. And they are coming at you. They're out there hoping for you. And the person that you have in your mind and in your heart, they exist because God put them there. So therefore, God can bring them to you. The problem is this is a test of faith. A lot of people are walking around out there lacking faith. So I teach people how to step into faith, step out of fear, because when you're operating from fear and dating from a place of fear of, I'm so afraid to grow old alone, and I'm so afraid to be alone, and I'm so afraid that I'm going to have nothing, you know, like fear, fear, fear. You're never going to make a good decision based on fear. And then somebody's going to slide into your life and you're going to make excuses for why they're good for you and they're not good for you at all. And all the things that you said you wanted, they might have 5 of the 20. And you're like, yay, I'm not lonely anymore. Doesn't mean that they're the person. Doesn't mean that it's right for you. So that's the don't settle piece. Do not settle. Step into faith. Get clear on what you want for your life. Your life. How do you want to live your life? What are the things that you're willing to tolerate and not tolerate? Again, the deal breakers. Get clear on what they are and then don't settle. The other thing is be clear about what you want up front as soon as possible. Just be like, hey, just out of curiosity, what are you dating for? It's a very valid question, right? Just out of curiosity, what are you dating for? It's a better way of putting it than, so what are you looking for? Everybody asks that question. It's so pedestrian. What is your intention of dating? What is your intention behind dating? What are you dating for? Are you dating to find your wife? Are you dating to find your a companion, a travel buddy, someone that you want to see twice a week to get laid with? Like, what's your angle? What's your agenda? You don't say that, but you leave it open-ended and then you listen to what they say. And the less you say, the better. Ask a simple, straight up, open-ended question. So before I became coach, I used to do public relations and marketing. So wordsmithing is my jam. Love it. And I know how to use techniques and word usage to elicit a certain energetic and emotional feeling from people. So I can read vibe, I could ask a question and put somebody in a state, and then they give you a response. And then you're able to have information and data that you can then make decisions from. So behind me is a bunch of books. There's books on this stuff. I think it's like over here somewhere. NLP, maybe it's that shelf. I don't know. But neuro-linguistic programming. I studied a bunch of this stuff. It's very amazing now because like in the world we're living in right now, like I can watch mainstream media and be like, propaganda, propaganda. That's to elicit fear. That's to elicit dependency. That's to elicit an emotion of confusion. And you know, I can just see it. I see right through it. So when you have these skills and you use them to your advantage, when you are dating, it is powerful. It's like you are an empowered badass going into a date situation because you know what you're going to ask, you know what you're going to listen for, and you know how to handle yourself. And you know how to communicate in a way that is very clear and very direct, but graceful and classy and just honest. And it's refreshing. Okay. So I hope these tips helped you so much. You can find me at LoveQuest Coaching in the description below. If you're watching this on YouTube, there is a link to a free LoveLife assessment that you can get for free. It's my gift for you for stopping by my channel, hanging out with me, getting your America First vibe on, loving the mugshot, whatever. If you are one of my people and you're not a victim and you're not a whiny little bitch blaming the world for why you're single, and you actually want to work on yourself to get your mindset on point so that you can manifest love just as I did, right? I did this stuff myself. I used it on myself, applied it, continue to apply it. I walk the talk. I study up on this stuff all the time. I love it. And I teach it, right? So we'd love to hang out with you more. Until next time, I'm Lisa, the Love Coach. All my socials are down below as well, so we can catch up on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. All right, don't get arrested. Bye.